Hi everyone, you're welcome to this space. This is the Lady Lawyer channel and my name is Victoria. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm very excited to have you here. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do it right now. It's best that you do it now. I realize that most of the people who view my videos are not subscribers. Why not? Do it. Thank you very much. Today we'll be talking about something very crucial. 2020. 2020 was the year. 2020 is a year that I don't think any of us would forget in a hurry. I hope that we don't have any such year anytime soon. But today I would like to reflect. I would like to look back over the year and reflect on what 2020 has taught me. You would have seen from the title of the video. And did I really learn anything from 2020? Did you learn anything from 2020? What did 2020 teach you? You know, this period of different things happening, there were horrible experiences. There were lots of people that died, celebrities and non-celebrities alike. There was a pandemic that practically shut the entire world down, which is unprecedented in our lifetime. You know, the whole approach to doing things changed. Our approach to shopping, our approach to living our lives, our approach to schooling and education, even our approach to work changed. Home office on a large scale became a thing, at least in this country where I am. Meetings became virtual. You know, we realized what Zoom was. And, you know, we even got to the point where we had Zoom apathy because there was too much of it. Every single thing we were doing was online. Even our churches were online, you know. So I thought that it might be helpful for me personally and on this channel to reflect on what we have learned from 2020. Number one, for me, there are some key lessons from the year. There are key lessons that I have learned. And the first most important lesson for me from 2020 is not to sweat the small stuff. I say this because 2020 gave me a perspective. Of course, the pandemic has not ended. So we are still, for us in Germany, for example, we are still home. We're still on lockdown. And so this is now February of 2021 and we're still at home. So this is, you know, almost a continuation of what's happened in 2020. But we hope and pray that it will be better. But when I say don't sweat the small stuff, I mean it very literally. We realized, you know, quickly what was important and what was not. The things that a lot of us expended our energy into doing before 2020, you know, that we thought were the most important things, we just realized that they were not as important. We could actually do without them. For example, you know, a lot of us felt like, oh, we needed to get to a gym to exercise, and we had gym memberships and everything. In 2020, when the pandemic started, you realized you couldn't go anywhere. The gym membership you were paying for, you couldn't even use. And then we began to devise ways of exercising at home. You know, how do you deal with this? How do you cope with just doing everything at home and not going anywhere? How do you deal with your work, with your family members? Then the things that were not important quickly began to pale when in relation to the important things, and people started to just do the things that were most important, focus on it and leave everything else. So 2020 taught me basically that forget about the small stuff. Don't sweat it. The things that you think are important, things like appearance, you know, things like how do people perceive me, perception of people, you just realize quickly that it's not as important as you thought. And you focus on, on what is important. That's one of the major lessons I learned from 2020, not to sweat the small stuff. Another major lesson that I have learned from 2020 is staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. I'm not going to continue. Staying alive, staying healthy. You know, the amount of information, of news that we got regarding the number, if you just check the statistics, even if you don't know anybody who has died as a result of COVID-19, if you just check the statistics of how many people have died, for example, in your city or in your country, or just in the whole world, on your continent, for example, you realize that the fact that you are alive and you're well and you're able to watch this video is something special. So for me, what 2020 taught me, another lesson that I have learned, is that the most important thing is to stay alive. And not just to stay alive healthy. That's the most important thing. And that leads me quickly to the third point. The third point is that for me, I must consistently find ways to enhance my life, to enhance the quality of my life. So while, yes, you're working, you're earning a living, and of course, you must be able to work and earn a living to be able to stay at home, essentially. So a lot of us were at home, but we were still working. Thankful for that opportunity, because also a lot of people lost their jobs. Lots of people lost their job. They lost their means of livelihood. And the pandemic forced a lot of us to also reorientate ourselves, to think about things in a new light, to be innovative, to seek out new opportunities. But greater than that, I realized that survival is critical. So it became important personally to take actions towards enhancing my survival. So if I needed to maybe get counseling, to meditate, to invest in my wellness, to take some time off, even in the house where everybody is at home, but take walks, to take a bath, to just do things that would invest in my mental health so that I stay sane in the middle of the whole thing. And I realized that there are two ends of the spectrum. There are people who are living alone, who are having such a tough time. At the beginning, it was nice for people who were living alone because they were able to concentrate on work. And those of us who have our family and our children, it was a bit hard to juggle everything when maybe your kids are trying to do homeschooling and you are trying to do home office, and you have small children who need to be looked after. But towards the middle of the whole thing, those of us who had family became grateful for our families because you had people to talk to. I imagine that people who are single, who are alone, would be having a hard time just being alone at home, not being able to go anywhere or do anything, and just having themselves alone for months and months without end. Basically, we didn't know when this was going to end. And I can imagine how tough this sort of thing is. So one of the major things which I also learned is to invest in my wellness, invest in the quality of my life. If I needed to have counseling, I should go and do it. And a lot of these things also migrated online. So you could get counseling online. You could you can't get a massage online, but you can maybe take a course. If you have a partner, your partner can take a course on how to massage you properly. Anything that will help to improve your wellness, to improve the quality of your life. 2020 taught me that this is important and I should invest in it. Another major lesson which I learned, which I alluded to shortly, is the fact that the most important thing is family. This is, at the end of the day, you realize that all you have is your family. You needed to look after each other. We still do. We need to look after each other. We need to care about each other's wellness. Even people who were fighting with their family members during the pandemic had to make up, because what if somebody dies? Of course, we don't pray for that. And thank God we are all still here. But people who have lost family members, just realize that the arguments and the fights that they had before, it pales in significance to the grand scheme of things, that this crazy thing is happening in the world and all we have is each other. This is really, really, I think about all those days where there's so much uncertainty around. It was literally as if this monster, which is the pandemic, is walking around and is out there on the streets. You are just inside and sheltering in place and trying to stay safe, and you realize that all you have is your family. During this period, we spent a lot of time talking to family members all over the world online, more video calls, more communication with family members, just trying to keep each other safe, keep each other in a good state of mind. And there was a lot of statistics of a lot of suicidal thoughts of people, that there was an increase in suicide. There was also an increase in domestic violence and all of that. These are the other negative parts of 2020, because when people are at home like that, it's very hard for a lot of people to cope, and the coping mechanism that we have is our family, you know, our people that are close to us, people that we care about, people that we love. And 2020 taught me that they are the most important thing in the world ever, and we need to look after each other. The last thing which I'm going to talk about is basically that while work is great and the opportunity to work is actually something to be grateful for, life does not start and end with work. That's one thing that also became clearer to me in 2020 come 2021. You know, many people died, and these people, when they were sick, the first thing they thought about was not, oh wow, my work, how is it? The first thing on everybody who is sick's mind is survival. Will I survive this? How will I survive it? And all of that, not my work. Even if the person is thinking about the work, the moment the person dies, unfortunately, offices just announce the vacancy and employ somebody else. And this is really insane. This is why, for me, we have to look after ourselves. Look after yourself, basically. Look after yourself. And if you have to take a break, if you have to take a holiday, use your paid leave and take a holiday. If you have to take some time to just rest, you know, to get yourself back in a mental state that is good, please do it. That's one thing I realized, that work is good. The opportunity to work is fantastic, but staying alive is more critical. Life is more critical. Life, you know, staying alive and staying in a good mental state is the most important thing. In fact, you have to be well. You have to be alive and well to be able to work. So work is not is not the beginning and the end. It's not the alpha and the omega, as it were. Work is great, but staying alive is better. What lesson have you learned from 2020? Did you learn anything at all? Is it really, I feel like, you know, you can never be forgiven if you didn't learn anything, because it was a period of immense stress, both physical and mental stress. But if you learned anything from 2020, can you kindly share it with us in the comment section? Let's talk about it. What did 2020 teach you? And is it anything that you would also be implementing in 2021? Let's talk about it in the comment section. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. Please do subscribe, like this video, share my content, and we'll see each other in the next one. Bye-bye.